wow, what happened to my voice? Yeah. She wasn't ready. She wasn't as ready as she thought she was. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Animating 101, episode 4, season 2. So, previously, we've learned basic movement, we've learned timing and spacing, and we also learned squash and stretch. Today, we'll be learning another useful foundational tip for your animation. But before we begin, let me check in on the chat. Hi, Wade. Hi, HP. Oh, movers and shakers. Yes, that's the right way to start. Katrina, Susan, Oliver, Uma, Wade. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing awesomely. Oh, thank you, Wade. Down below in the Behance chat, and I'm sure it'll be in the YouTube chat as well, but I've also added it to the description. If you want to check out the episodes we did beforehand so you can learn from the ground up, animating in general and animating in After Effects, more importantly, check out the link down below. In those links, they'll also have the resource files. You can also check out behance.net/Pixipui. I have all of the VODs in there, as well as the files for you to download as well. But, wait, is it stuck? Hold on. Is it good? You got me shocked. Is it stuck? Are we okay? It's not stuck? Okay. Whew. Don't scare me. So, in today's lesson, we're going to be learning about follow through and drag. It's good for me. Thank you. The way my heart was like, not when I have practiced for all of this to work. Not when I have practiced for this to work. Okay, so we're talking about follow through and drag. Hello, Frosty. How frosty are ya? So we're talking about follow through and drag. We've got a couple of whats. The first what is follow through? Well, follow through is when parts of the body continue to move after the main body has stopped. So for example, take Miss Bezier bouncing down. The other part of her body would be her bow. Now it's not moving here, but with the follow through, we can see that the bow continues to move after the main body has stopped. This takes it from looking a little bit dull, a little bit uninteresting, to something that's more fluid. It's literally following through the motion of the main body. This is normally used in conjunction with drag. That takes us to what number 2. So, what is drag? Well, drag is delaying movement of body parts in relation to the main body. So let's take Miss Bezier again. Let's assume she's going from one side to the other, the extra part of the body being the bow. She's moving kind of fast. Let's slow her down. While she's moving, you'll notice the bow is the last thing to catch up. The bow is literally being dragged behind. It's literally in the name, I suppose. Let's look at Mr. Keyframe. If his whole body were to move, the tie would be dragged afterwards. It would then follow through the movement, which would overshoot the movement, and eventually settle back down. So essentially, all we're ever doing is moving the main body, dragging anything else that's secondary, having it overshoot, and eventually settle down. HP, not a boring party can be a drag. Not when it's an animator's party. We know how to have fun. So, we know about what number 1, we know about what number 2. What mini games are we going to be doing this time? I've got 5 new ones for you. So if you want to join along, please be sure to grab the resource files. They're in the chat down below. Where does pop them for you? But here are our 5. We have Pixipui, Hypnotic, Say Cheese, Springy, and my favorite, Naughty. So in each of our episodes and each of the classes, you get a new set of 5 mini games. So every single one has a new set that you could totally use all of your newfound knowledge on. I'm hanging on this screen for a little bit because if you'd like to do this with me, you now have a chance to go and download your file. Make sure your After Effects is open. Make sure your file is loaded in. And we can begin. No, if it's an anime pie, that's right, A. Okay, before we begin, I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody that's added me with their homework, especially my grade A student, Penny. I've seen your progress from each of the episodes, including the people that I've met in the Creative Challenge group. Seeing you lot learn is very inspiring and really encouraging. So thank you very much. Please continue to @ me. And if you need help, I'm here. I'm here. Gareth, hey, oh, pancake day a little late. No, it's okay. Pancakes all the time. I just bought syrup today too. Okay, so number 1. Peekaboo. So in this one, Miss Bezier is bouncing out of that box like, woo! But Miss Bezier's bow doesn't move in our file. So we need to add follow through and drag to this bow. Okie dokie. So when you open your file, I mean, the next one, we still need to do one food related. I can't remember who it was in the chat, but in one of these episodes, somebody was mentioning that they were cooking some food and it burnt. And I was like, ooh, that'd be a fun mini game for us to do. Maybe when we do more stuff, there's way more foundational things for us to learn. But if there's an Animating 101 season 3, maybe we'll learn some of those. Add some pancakes too. When you open your file and press the space bar, you'll notice that Miss Bezier pops out, but the bow isn't moving, nor are the, I don't know what these are, the tassels to the bow. Lion! Hello, lovely. Welcome on in. We've just begun. If you don't have your files, please run and grab your resource files. They're in the chat. If you don't see them, I'm sure Wade will pop them down again in a little bit for you. But we need to make this bow move. So the first thing we're going to have to do is take this back to the beginning. We're going to bow move me. I've tried to make it really easy for us to find what we're looking for. So if we're on bow move me, we need to move the position. Position starts with P. So if we press P, we'll notice that I've actually already separated it for you, so you don't need to worry about this. We need the bow to drag. Thank you, Wade. So the bow is going to drag behind the movement of the body. So what I'm going to do is, I know I want the bow to stop here, essentially. I like I'm putting my hand here. Imagine I had a bow. I know I want the bow to stop here. So Y does up and down. We're not doing X. We don't need to mess with this one at all, unless you're doing something else with it. Let's go to our Y, and we're going to click on the stopwatch. So now that's made a keyframe for us of our current position, which is very useful if you want to make sure things stay in their exact place. We're going to rewind this, and I'm just going to lower the bow. So that's clicking on the blue numbers and click and dragging. If it goes up, go the other way. There we go. And I'm just gonna drag her up or move the indicator. And we've got the drag in tow. That's one half. Now we need the follow through. We need this to continue for a second until it settles. If it settles or if it stops at the same time as the body, it looks kind of weird. People might not know, if they're not an animator, they might not know what's wrong, but they'll feel a bit, So I'm just gonna move my last frame over a little bit. So this means it's going to settle just after she's up, but I still want it to move beyond this. So I'm actually gonna move this all the way to the end, and we're gonna copy this keyframe. That's Control and C for copy, Control and V for paste. And I'm going to push the bow up a little bit. So it's going to follow behind, go up. I want it to go down and then settle. So let's copy our last keyframe again. Copy and paste. And let's lower it just before the point. You might notice, I think, maybe like, not a domino. A domino just lands straight down. You know when you have a coin? I'm sure you lot know what I'm talking about. There's like an item. When you drop it, it doesn't really just fall. It kind of like, and then it settles. The more you do that, the more interesting it looks, the more cartoony it looks too. So I've moved that. We've got a little bit of a bounce. And then it settles. If we wanted to, we could totally have the bow drag up, but normally, maybe not, but you could totally do it. It just add more cartoony dynamism to your animation, which I'm all for. Technically, we could totally leave it at that, but I know I've taught you a lot how to use the graph editor, so how about we play around with this a little bit more? I'm going to select one of my keyframes and click on the graph editor button. Now we're in the editor. Now we remember to make things faster, we pull the keyframes together. To make things slower, we make it further apart. Now I kind of like where it's going. I want it to smooth itself down. Where can we access the other lesson files? So when you get your lesson 4, it actually has the other mini games inside it already. I don't think they're already animated, so you should have all of them within this one. But if you do want to grab the individual files with each lesson, you can either head on over to the previous lessons and they'll have their resource files in the chat, or head on over to my Behance channel. That's behance.net/Pixipui. And I've got all the class files and the lesson files in that box as well. Otherwise, Wade's just pop them down there. Thank you very much, Wade. I think I want this to slow down when it reaches here. So I'm going to select this one and I am going to use the ease in. I'm going to break that tangent over there. And by doing this, oh, you know what? I think I forgot to put this on loop. It's been a while. Nah, there we go. Okay, there we go. By breaking the tangent, it means it's going to slowly get to this position. Ooh, it's added a little bit more of a... Love it. Let's do this on this one as well. If you want, you could totally change the speed of this by selecting your tangent, holding shift to make sure it doesn't change height, unless you want it to. That's really good for overshooting. Actually, we don't really need to do this. We could have done an overshoot, but that's later. That's more technical. More technical! But we can click and drag this out. By doing this, it means it's going to drag for less time and come up sooner. Because this section is short, means it moves fast. This section is long, means it moves slow. So it's up to you how you want this to move, but try to aim for something that feels good. The more you do this and the more you notice real world movement, it will come together. So I'm going to do a little bit of a slow on this. We're going to break the tangent, but in the other direction. And let's see what this looks like without me changing it. That's all right. We could probably smooth this down too. So let's break that tangent as well. Nice. So now you've got a nice smooth. We could probably make that a little bit more smoother by dragging this out and changing these lines a little bit. Don't worry about having to shift or play with your graph editor or your keyframes. That kind of comes with the territory. You're going for what feels right. That might stay down a little bit too long. So I'm going to pull this in. Short is fast, long is slow. There we go. I like that much better. There we go. All right. Now you could totally leave it at this. This is technically got drag. It's got follow through, but we could do more by adding the whatever this is. By adding these. Hi, Cianis. Welcome on in, lovely. If you want to grab the minigame files, they're in the chat. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Maybe I should have made it pancake. If I remembered it was pancake day yesterday, then I would have done that for today. Okay, so we're doing the exact same thing. Also, this is the nice thing about you not having learned all the foundations before. Everything we're doing is the same thing on top of the same thing on top of the same thing. So this is why it's so good to know the foundations. All animation is the foundations just layered on top of each other. The bow flutter. The bow flutter! That's it. I asked because it's missing some files from lesson 1 and 2. When you open the... okay. So if the lesson 4 claims that it's missing some files, head to the original videos, grab the lesson files from there, or head to my Behance page. You can just press OK on those ones if you're not doing the lessons from the lesson 4 file. But if you go back to the classes that they start from, oh yeah, that's because I changed what they look like. The files that you get with the exact video, they've got all the stuff in there. Love the movie, makes it super cute. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Wade. Thank you. Okie dokie. Right. So we're doing the exact same thing that we did with the bow moving up, but we're going to do it with the bow flutter. So I'm gonna leave bow move me open. Sometimes using the visuals of the keyframe can help you automatically know when things are supposed to start. Penny, my grade A student. I'm gonna grab bow 1 and bow 2, and we're moving the rotation, not the position. Rotation starts with R, that's right. So we're gonna click R on our keyboard and go for it. Penny, how you doing? You ready to graduate animation class soon? Yeah! Oh, I want to make little Miss Bezier and Mr. Keyframe certificates. That would be amazing. Oh, I hope you're ready. Can I advise? I can advise. Alrighty. So let's click our keyframe down here. This is where I want the bow to ultimately end up. I don't want to lose this. So I'm just going to move it further down where I'm probably am going to use it. And I'm going to head on over to the left where these little diamond shapes are. That's actually our keyframe. It's a really good way to keyframe multiple things at once. So I'm going to keyframe that again so I don't have to copy and paste. You cannot copy and paste multiple layers, different layers. It will just repost a new layer. You'll see what I mean when you try it. Even I sometimes still do it. But this is a useful way to make sure if you're just trying to make sure you've got your first frame repeated for more than one thing, this is really handy. Alrighty. Oh, Penny, today we're doing follow through and drag. So with this, you'll be able to go back and try follow through and drag with the previous ones too. It's gonna be great. So the bow's being dragged up, but everything drags in relation to the new main body. So if Miss Bezier was the main body for the main bow, the tiny thing that's in the middle that moves the bow, that's the main body to the bow flutter sides. So everything has a catalyst. So we need to make it react to it. So this has to be dragged up. Unfortunately, we can't grab them both. So I'm going to drag these two down because they need to drag upwards and then come up when the bow's fully at the top. So let's keep moving this over till we get it right. Alrighty. Want the bow to come up at the top. So let's move its final here. Let's take a look. Goes up. Now that was our drag. We need the follow through now. So we need it to overshoot. That means go in the opposite direction. So let me pop this up. I want to, but I want to keep this too. So I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to copy and paste those keyframes independently. That way I have a good starting point. If you know what your end frame is, it's easy to overshoot it nicely. And I'm going to make this go up a little bit. Because if it went down, well, it went up, bow comes up, it goes down, bow's going to come down a bit, and then up and down until it stays in place. Okay, so we got up, we got down, we need another down. So you could either choose to manually do this, which would make it look more organic if it's not exactly the same, or you could totally copy and paste your earlier down, but I think it might be a little bit too far down for this. Now we need to make sure our down happens after the movement. That way it still looks like it's dragging. All right, let's move this over a bit. There we go. And now it goes back up. And if we really wanted to, we could totally add a little up and then down. But that's down to you. If we press play, we can see that we've got a little blah, wah. And we haven't even done anything in the graph editor yet. So the graph editor is like a nice little seasoning on the top, but fundamentally, you don't really have to go in there if you don't want to. If your keyframes are moved in the right place, you're pretty much good to go. But I would like to add a little bit of smoothing and rounding out. So let us hop into the graph editor. I've got both of them selected. And I'm just going to click the first one. This one is a little bit more restrictive compared to the ease in and ease out break tangents, but it might do what we need it to, which it kind of does for me here. This one I think I want more control over though. So I'm going to break the tangent on the left, break the tangent on the right. If RB was here, they would say, how do we fix it, Penny? Yeah, Penny. How do we make it move faster? How do we make it move slower? That is the question. And I think I want this to slow itself out. So I want this bit to move faster. So that means we need to move it in, makes it shorter. And I want the other half to be longer. That means we have to move it out. There we go. How we fix it, Penny? We move it out there just a little bit more. Ooh. Look at that. Now it feels good. Vlad. Hi, Vlad. How are you doing? We're doing follow through. And we've just done our first mini game, which is moving Miss Bezier's bow when she pops out. Now we can do a little bit more if you so choose. We can leave it like this, or we can choose to make the bow, not the main part, but the side flutters, we can make them go up. Thank you, Penny. Penny said, long line slow, short line fast. See, that's what I'm talking about. That right there, grade A student. That's what I'm talking about. So, if we want this to go wah, on the way down, it's so realistic. Ah. Thank you, Zed. So let me move this up. Move this one up as well. Frosty said, Pixie, you got the moves. That looks awesome. Thank you. And that's just the first one. And let this be known, what we're doing here, that's exactly the same for all the other stuff. It's always the same stuff. It just looks slightly different. You recovered 4 days off, or 4 days of Oh, okay, Vlad. Oh, okay. See, look, there's an animator that can party hard. See, we were talking about partying hard earlier, weren't we? So I need this to react to it going down. Ooh. Let's go back into our graph editor, shall we? I need it to go down slower, or I need it to stay where it is, longer, and then go down. So let's break the tangents, drag it out. Teacher's pet. I'm not ashamed. There we go. When you're dragging, it has to be dragged by something. The drag cannot happen before the main body. And we need to move it down. We move it with position. Position starts with P. That's right. So let's go to our bow move me. Let's do the toggle hold on this one this time. We're going to right click, go to toggle hold keyframe. Good teacher. Oh, thank you. This is only number 1. We got to speed along. We'll copy that keyframe, paste it, hold control, left click, and left click again till we get a normal keyframe. So this will tell it where to hold and to hold for how long. And then I'm just going to move the position down when the bow is still seen when it's not supposed to. Oops, that's not down. There we go. So now it looks like you gave her an apple. Oh, thank you. So now it looks like an endless loop. Good job. Let's move along to number 2. Hypnotic. So in this one, Mr. Keyframe, or maybe one of Mr. Keyframe's family, because he doesn't have his hat on, is being moved by some swingy thing. We need to help the swingy thing and Mr. Keyframe move along. Frosty said, you make learning fun, and all of these techniques can be put into so many future projects. Oh, Frosty! Thank you! Thanks for coming in here. being so kind. Wow, thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear that. Learning is fun. All of these things should be mini games, so I'm really glad you lot are enjoying the mini games. Wow, Gareth, wow. Wait, what? Gareth. Wow, Gareth. So, when you open your mini game number 2, you'll notice I've already animated the hand. I don't know. I think cold, because it's England. I've already animated the hand, but this means we've mainly got drag and follow through. It's always drag and follow through, let's be honest. So, we can move Mr. Keyframe for extra, but Mr. Keyframe would only move in reaction to the stick. So let's go to the move me string. We need the rotation. Rotation starts with R. So let's push R on the keyboard and head to our rotation. I can't see where it's rotating from. It's one of these. Oh, there it is. Do I need it? It's too late now. It's here. It's here. All this tech talk, swingy thingy. Steve, don't come for me. Mr. Keyframe. It's Mr. Keyframe. You know what I mean? I chose not to make it like a proper string. Leave me, Steve. Okay, so we've got our first keyframe here. This needs to be dragged by the hand. So we can move the indicator a little bit, drag it over. And then, well, okay, already one, we did the drag, perfect. Now we need the follow through. So it's technically stopped. We need it to go over. Let's go back to our rotation, push it in the other direction. We could make it go off the screen, to be honest. I don't know why I'm being so precious. So now we've got a follow through, but it shouldn't happen too soon, but we'll go back. We'll go back. And then it's being dragged again. So we could make it go higher to show it's being dragged more. And then it needs to go back to the first keyframe. All of these mini games are designed to loop. Makes it look a little bit fun. So they'll go back to our first keyframe. We copy, Control and C, then Control and V. That's kind of too soon, I think. Let me swing this around. We're going to go into our graph editor and make this work a little bit better. All the frames are where they should be. The graph editor is going to help us tell it how long to be here for, how quick to do this. It's really going to tighten it up for us. Thank you very much. The lesson files are down below. And if, like Uma, you notice that it says, oh, I can't find something for lesson 1 and lesson 2, don't worry about that. Please head over to the original videos. That's before I changed the format, and I don't think I noticed that. The lesson 1 and lesson 2 VODs have those files in there. But lesson 4 is where we're at, so you don't need to worry too much. So we're here. We could choose to have it do a bit of an overshoot and then come back, but the choice is yours. Once we've gotten it to where we want it to go, I would suggest we pull in our work area with a lot of looping things. The way to make it loop well is to cut off a couple of frames, and then it actually looks like it's an endless loop. So we can probably make that a little bit smaller. Hey, like this. So even though it looked like it was holding for a while, by us pulling in the work area, it's changed everything. So if you find when you're doing a looping animation that it doesn't loop, pull in the work area. Even with the turnaround, it's actually, let's say you had, since we're talking about frames, let's say you had 20 frames. The F is for frames. You had 20 frames, the loop was 20. You're only supposed to show 19. So all the stuff, all the strats. Okay, so we've technically done one thing. We've done the drag, we've done the follow through. I might pull it in a bit more, actually. It was, oh, I see what I've done. I see what I've done. Okay. So this one was really quick and easy to do. Moving Mr. Keyframe is your extra. You kind of already know what to do. We're just doing the same thing, but on Mr. Keyframe. So Mr. Keyframe is not reacting to the hand. He's reacting to the string. So I'm going to leave up the string. If you do want to close it, if there's too much action going on your After Effects, head on over to the drop down arrow next to the Move Me string and go ahead and click that. Or you can just press U a couple of times. That's you on the keyboard like, you, that's not you. Okay. So on rotation, we're going to keyframe. Have Mr. Keyframe react to being swung. We don't have to start our first keyframe at the very start of the board though. So I might drag mine afterwards. Hold on. If you find, this is what I'm probably going to do as well, maybe once you've gone all the way through your animation and the first animation doesn't make sense anymore, it's absolutely okay to change it now that you have your ending, which I think is probably what I'm going to do. Mr. Keyframe says, you're getting very sleepy. Rick, I think you're right. You know, I just saw that you've got your name in brackets at the end. I've been calling you Zed all this time. I'm so sorry. So I've got Mr. Keyframe. He's reacting. I'll make him react a little bit more. Then he goes over the side. As soon as the stick gets to the pinnacle, that's when Mr. Keyframe should turn. We could probably make him turn a little bit more. We're doing a little bit of follow through and overshoot. We'll tweak that. And then it will be back to the first keyframe. Oops, there we go. Which actually looks quite nice like this. If you do want Mr. Keyframe to be on the screen the whole time, it is absolutely okay for you to go to the Pixie Move hand, unlock it, open it up, and you can totally take this keyframe and just drag it back a little bit if you want to make sure everything is seen. I too will say Zed from time to time, but I know it's Rick. Just don't call me late for dinner. Zed, wait. Wait. So you can absolutely move the hand back if you want to. You don't have to. I don't know how far you've thrown Mr. Keyframe, but we've got this right here. But we technically could have done the graph editor first. The only thing about us not having done the graph editor before we moved Mr. Keyframe is once we change the positioning and the timing, it might change when Mr. Keyframe's supposed to do his thing. Now we can totally leave it like this, or we could add a little bit of a smooth. Oh, that's Mr. Keyframe that I'm touching. Let me go to the string. We can add a smooth just so it looks like it slows down once it gets to a point. So right now that's moving too soon. I need it to move after. So I'm going to break the tangent, pull it out. Long is slow. Pull it out more because it really shouldn't move before the hand moves. Now we've got this. It shouldn't reach that before the hand reaches there. So I'm going to break the tangent again, make this one long. I want it to stay in this position for longer. Welcome, Ace. Might be too long. Play around with it until you find what feels right. What it do? Just hypnotizing. Oh, look at that. Yes, yes, yes. It's so dynamic. So we've got a little bit of movement there. We've got a swing, we've got a woo! And then I need to make this possibly hold a little bit more. So let me drag this down a little bit. Ace, I hope you're having a good day. I hope work's going well as well. There we go, got a little smooth. And I'm just going to add my last break tangent here, see what it looks like. Now, because I've changed it from being linear, linear's the straight lines, it means it's changed my loop. So I might need to pull it in a bit more or less. Find what works for you. I found that once I tweak my keyframes in this manner, sometimes you might have to grab a keyframe, make your new keyframe. Like I'm just going to put a keyframe here. Copy it, delete it, and you can paste it at the start. That way, when you pull your indicator in, it's going to look like it's actually moving at the right point. So if you do move your graph editor and it doesn't really work anymore, find a good point in the animation, copy, make a new keyframe, copy it, move it to the beginning, paste it. Oh, be careful. Hey, there we go. I feel much better about that. We haven't actually done the same to Mr. Keyframe, so we'll do a quick one. You won't worry about it too much. I'll add some quick, easy eases in there. Hopefully these will be a-okay. But that's number 2. Oh, you know what? You know what? Because we changed the frame again, we're gonna have to change Mr. Keyframe. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Let us add a keyframe here. We'll copy it, we'll delete it, and we'll paste it as our start point. There we go. So now it looks fluid rather than we don't need that. We need that fluidity of the loop. Number 3. Say cheese. Somebody is taking the picture. Strike a pose. What we have to do is move the hand and move the camera. Give you a couple of seconds so you can catch up. It's your aunt's dog. They're just happy to see me. See, that's really sweet. Ace, after what you were telling me before, it sounds like you definitely need like a nice chill time with some animals and feel the love, feel the joy, you know? Okay, so when you open up your cheese, that's your third mini game, compared to what we saw in the example, nothing's moving. I've animated the finger, I've animated the... Sorry, no pictures. Excuse me, you know, like the paparazzi. I'm sorry, Ace. We're paparazzi today. Paparazzi. So, I've animated the click, I've animated the finger. What we need to do is add drag and follow through to make this look more interesting. Now, yes, when you've got a camera, you might do it still. I don't know who does. People don't normally like spend that much time to make sure they don't move their hand. When you do an action, when you're animating, overdo it. That kind of looks more fun. So if I had a camera and I'd take the picture, I would take the picture, but I would probably push the camera down at the same time. By doing that in animation, kind of gives it a little bit more bounce, a little bit more fun. Everyone can tell it's a camera. It doesn't change what the item is, but it's the dynamism again. You're after more interesting movement because this is very boring. So the first thing that we're going to do is move the hand. I want to move the hand with the camera. So let me go to the main hand, move me. We're moving it with position. Position starts with a P, that's right. Click P. You'll notice I've already split this one for you as well. We're not doing X. X goes left and right. We're doing Y. Y goes up and down. So I'm going to drag over till I see the camera click. If you want, you can absolutely open the camera, the finger Pixie moves it one. That way you can see when the click's supposed to happen. That can absolutely help with your timing. Because technically, your timing is when the finger goes down. And get a blurry picture. Look! In the animation world, it will always be perfect. Don't look. The camera can fix it. The camera can fix it. Don't talk logic to me, Zed. Talking logic to me. Let's click Y or the stop watch on the Y. There we go. And I want the hand to move down. It's not really being dragged by it, but it's more reacting to what's happening. And then the follow through would be it overshooting back up to rest. So let's move it. See when the finger clicks. Let's move it down a little. Oops, move it down a little bit. Take a look. Kind of a little bit too soon. Might be too low. I would say don't worry about your animation being over the top. It's better for it to be over the top and in the right place because you can pull it in easier. If it's not enough, maybe you can't tell if it's in the right spot. So I'm going to leave it here for now. I'll probably change it later. And I want it to go back up. We have an up. Let's copy our first keyframe. Control and C to copy. Control and V to paste. Wait. Oh. Hi, Drevin. Wait, Drevin, get my good side. Yes, Drevin. Big. Love it. So we've got that, but it's boring to go back to place. We need to overshoot. So let me push it up a little bit and then have it rest. So I just did Control and V because I already had my first keyframe saved. It's a bit rough. We can pull this out till it feels right. Doesn't feel right to me yet. So I'm going to grab by selecting all of my keyframes, grab all of these and drag it to the side. Let's see. So while you're animating, trying it out in real life really helps. By you doing it in person, you can kind of see the timing. If I was clicking this, the hand going down is actually kind of the same time. I think it's too low. So let me go to the graph editor and drag it up. You can totally go and drag it up via the blue, but the only thing is you get more visual confirmation in the editor. So that way I can see how high it is. That's probably too high. So I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So it's okay if it's over the top in the beginning because you can always go into the editor, see how high the levels are because maybe you don't want it that dramatic. Maybe you do. And we've got a finger click. I kind of like this. This one doesn't seem like it needs any ease or any slowing down or speeding up, but let's just check it out. That's right. When in doubt, act it out. It's so true. Plus, it's really fun as well. You're like a mini actor. And the more interesting your animations are, the more things you get to act out. And then if you're really down for it, you can dress up too. And then you'll have all of those behind the scenes videos where people are like, what are you doing? Yeah, I was just trying to act out somebody like climbing onto something and jumping off it. And then there's you jumping in like a gymnasium pit. Like, what is it? The pit? You know the thing. Everyone's seen those, right? So I've added a basic ease on it. So I can't control the tangents individually, but I don't think I need to. I kind of like how this looks. So we've got this. We could leave it at this, but it'll be more interesting if the camera also moved. Yes, said it would be a blurry picture, but it looks like a great animation. So let me go back and move the camera. Now the camera's going to react to, well, technically the hand movement. You can pick what you want the main object to be, but I think my main body is going to be the hand. You'll have to ask your stunt double. Wade. There was somebody else who had lots of wild puns. I can't remember the name of this person. It's Gareth. It is Gareth. You and Gareth are two peas in a pod. So let me grab the camera body. I'm going to keep this open actually, because then I can see what I have done. Let's go to the camera body and press P for position. What am I talking about? I do all my own stunts. Of course you do, Wayne. Of course you do. If I had a straw. I don't have a straw, but I have a drink and I'm just going to sip it slowly. Of course you do, Wade. So, we've got the body. We're going to stopwatch on the position. And I think I'm going to make the camera body react to the finger. So it's going to push down and come back up again. Reverb Mike is big on song lyrics and movie quotes. Wait, who? Why does that name sound familiar? So I need the body to follow through the finger movement. So it has to go beyond what just happened to it. So let's push it down a little bit. Ooh. And then we can have it overshoot. And then have it come back down. Let's take a little look. Ooh, there we go. Hey. We're being sassy today. Let's be honest, Uma. I have never seen Wade not be sassy. Wade and Gareth are two of the sassiest people I now know. I think if you say his name 3 times. Wait, Rick, he might appear. Do you mean Zed? We have a Rick. Okay. Oh, wait, wait, what do you mean? Okay, there we go. Not me, I've been eating pancakes. Mm-hmm. So you stop your sassiness when Wade is here, and when Wade ain't there, you take the role? What's this? What is this? Is this like Superman? Never seen in the same place? So, we've got this. I want it to stay down longer. So let's go ahead and click this keyframe, pull this out to make it go longer, hits the roof. I want it to stay down longer there as well. So I'm just gonna drag it out and maybe smooth it in a little bit. So if you want a proper look at the graph editor, that's what we did in episode 3. Is that what we did? Probably. I think episode 3 and episode 2 we looked about it. No. It was 2. It was one. They're all the same. It's one of them. It's one of them. We have to use it in general. It must be 2 and 3. Can't quite remember, you know. I mean, I'd say, okay, super is a bit much. Wait, what? Hold on. I've kind of missed where this sass is related to. But I see you, Wade. Okay, so we've done this. We could totally leave it at this. Okay, man doesn't have the same ring to it. Oh, I see. Ah. What? Why okay, man? No, I don't think so. Although it seems very 90s. Very not Batman, very Bart, you know? We could leave it at this, but you could totally do the back of the camera too. And it's exactly the same thing that we've done before. We're going to move the position. Position starts with a P. We'll do our stopwatch. I need it to follow through. It's being dragged down, so we could either have it come up, go down, and come back up again. Mr. OK Man, can we make an art of this, please? I'm gonna have it drag, so it needs to go last, and then it can come up. I'll follow through, and then it's got to go back to normal, but it's got to go back to normal after the body that it's following. It's following the camera, not the hand. Ah! Yes. It's always nice when you see it work. Like, you know it's gonna work, but when you see it, you're like, okay, so we can totally smooth this down by going into our graph editor. The back of the camera. Okay, that's fun. Yeah. So I haven't edited this one. You can try to break the tangents, but unless it's separated, you can't actually do it individually. So if you'd like to, right click position, click separate dimensions, and we're not using X at all. So we can turn off the stopwatch on X, go straight to Y. I want this to hang low. That means we make it long. I know that I need to pull this one out a little bit. And I want the other side to take a long time to go back, and I want it to smooth out. Cute. Let me pull this out a little bit more. Ah! Ta-da! We did it! And that's number 3. On to number 4. Springy! So, Miss Bezier has also been attached to the stick thing. She would like to get off, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. We need to move Miss Bezier from side to side. So, we've got Miss Bezier, who's kind of moving like she's on a clock. Shift, Alt, and click to hide a property, I remember. To hide a property? Why am I thinking like, what house? What Monopoly? What? She'd like to get off. She would like to get off, but she can't. She's attached to it. She's attached to it, I'm afraid. So we've got Miss Bezier's file right here. The rotation's already on. So let's do the stopwatch, and she needs to be dragged. We've done the dragging before, so we can tilt her as she gets moved. Monopoly. Uma said Shift and Alt click to hide a property. And the first thing I saw, like a hotel, a flat, I was like, property. She's getting drag. We've got an overshoot. So as soon as the stick stops, we'll tilt her over. Don't worry about the fact that it looks like she's moving at the same time. We're going to go into the graph editor and change it. Oh, I got it. And then we can have her drag some more and end. Oops, she needs to end in the same space. So let's copy. Oliver said, Miss Bezier appears to have gotten herself stuck to a metronome. Can we have that voiceover? I'm going to need Oliver to do all of the reasons for these, please. So now we've got her going, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's move that work area in again so it looks a little bit more instant. There we go. Now we could leave it like this, but you know. Does that work on the taxman Uma? Uma! Also, please don't drag Miss Bezier. She's a nice lady. She is. She is. Let us open our... Oh, forgot the word for a second. Graph editor. Because I'm still thinking about Uma and property. Uma, I'm just seeing your avatar with like the Monopoly man's like moustache and the hat. Stacey! Hi, Stacey! Don't worry, you got the VOD, darling. But thank you so much for hopping in. We're just learning about follow through and drag. Wait, Devlin said or else gotten into the Bezier. Oh, Devlin! Devlin! I mean, it's after water. It's after the watershed for me, so... Just getting crazy. I know, right? So, I kind of want her to hold here. That means we need it to hold for longer. To make it longer, we just break the tangent and pull it out, because long is short. Wait, hold on. Long is slow. There we go. And then she goes over. I'm just going to pull this one out because it takes too long to get there. There we go. I might want it to take a little bit longer to get to this point too. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And voila. We basically got it. This is it. This is it. This one was fast, wasn't it? If you want to, if you really want to, you could totally do the bow as well. But because she's being flung from side to side, well, you could just use the rotation. But they wouldn't be moving in the same direction. So that would be a fun extra for you. And for the last few minutes before we close up, number 5. Naughty. Somebody wants some cookies from the cookie jar. And we say, no, these cookies aren't for you. No. So in your file, you'll see you've got the hand. Everything else has been animated. A little hand's like this. No. Your task will be to animate the hand reacting to being slapped. So we're going to move this hand. We'll look for the slap moment. That would be me, Pixie. Frosty, these cookies ain't for you. We're going to put the stopwatch down. We'll make sure that the hand reacts. I have a big sweet tooth. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Move the hand down. Overshoot it. Have it come back up a little bit. It can go straight back to whatever point you want it to go to be honest. But, well, actually, that was really quick. I love how the right hand opens as well. Thank you. I thought, let me add some more stuff to make this really interesting for you lot. The back finger moves, and so does the thumb. Just gotta make it look like we're really going for it. But once we animate the hand, we need it to return back to normal. So we've got our last keyframe and we've got the normal pose. It can't go up while the other hand is there. No cookie for Wade. Wade, that's you. It's been called. It's been called. We can absolutely go to toggle hold keyframe, copy and paste. That will tell it to stay down and to stay down for as long as these two are there. So we need it to hold for a little bit more, move it out, and have that arm come back up. We can go straight into our keyframe editor. Maybe this take a little bit longer to come up. There we go. And voila! Wait, what did I do? Went for some cookies. Can't get them. This was really simple. I think this one's probably the fastest one to do out of all of these. Well, we did it. We did it. This was the last episode of Animating 101 Season 2. I hope you lot have enjoyed the journey. Thank you so much for having downloaded the mini games and having your fun with them. It's been really cool seeing what you lot have done. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. Wade said I don't condone cookie-induced violence anyway. Not entrapment. Wait. Oh, Silver. Pixie, wonderful to see you as usual. Currently sick. No. Oh, Silver. I am good, thank you. We're just closing up. We're just closing up after someone was rejected from having cookies. Thank you, Wade. The files are down below, but you have a conclusion. Your homework is to complete the minigame homework, use the follow through and drag on previous minigames, and try the follow through and drag on one project of your own. Hi Pixie, I hope you have tutorials available on your own YouTube channel in future. All lessons are appreciated. Oh, I do have my own YouTube channel. Although it is Pixified Tips where my tutorials are at, but they're much faster than this. I think my other tutorials, Frosty, would be found on Skillshare underneath Ray Belvedere. But thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you later, hopefully. Have a great rest of your day.